first interested in superheroes for two reasons. Two reasons. One, because my friend Kurt Busiek, when I was about 13 years old, he was interested in superheroes. So he was the first person I met who loved comics, and he shared them with me, and that was my window into the comics world. The other reason is because I was a 13-year-old boy living in America, and that's what we do. But it was, in the end, it wasn't the superheroes so much as the comics themselves, and that became a window into all the other kinds of comics from other countries and other styles and other times. And those are what I really fell in love with. I think that the mythology of superheroes, it's something that runs through all kinds of heroic fantasy, legends, Hollywood movies. It's something that goes beyond comics, really. So on the one hand, the superhero, kind of the superhuman story, that goes beyond comics. But comics goes beyond the legend, right? Comics goes beyond the superhero. And the two meet in the American superhero comic, but it was that other set where comics could also go. That's the road I took. Other people, they like to take the road that stays in the world of the superhero, and maybe they go to superhero movies or superhero television shows.
Yeah.
I wasn't so interested in that. I wanted to see what comics could do, regardless of what it was about. I think there's a market for ideas, and I think that there's a market for works about subjects people care about, either in school or just because they want to know more. So there should be comics about politics, there should be comics about history, there should be comics about science, there should be comics about every subject. And we have, in Japan, we have comics that are fiction about every subject. I think there should be non-fiction comics about every subject too. But the thing about non-fiction is, the first passion that drives them is the subject itself. Then it's comics' job to transmit the message and get out of the way, you know? Mm-hmm. And just to make it as clear as you possibly can. Mm-hmm. And people are beginning to discover that comics is a very good medium for teaching that sort of thing. I think when teaching with comics, the most important thing is to believe in the message and believe in the medium. So, by believe in the message, I mean sometimes people think, comics can teach this subject, but first, nobody really wants to know the subject because it's boring, so we have to make it more exciting. We have to add things and add adventure, maybe add a story, and then maybe we can slip in the message. That shows a lack of faith in the message. You have to have faith that the subject is interesting all by itself. If you believe that as an author, then you can teach it more effectively. And then you also have to believe in the medium too and use all the tools of comics. And not think that somehow to make it look more like a comic would be to make it a lower status, to embarrass the subject. No, it's like all of the tools of comics, whatever works, should be used. As far as new technologies go, it's a gigantic subject. Yeah. But I believed very strongly in 1993 when I began looking into this that comics and digital media could have an exciting future, and I felt that we would see massive changes in the way comics were made, the ways that they were distributed, the relationship between creators and their audience, and the shape of comics could be radically different. I think that last one, in many ways, it's still at the very beginning stages. Mm-hmm. There's still a lot more work to be done with the shape of comics, and I think comics still haven't completely hatched out of the egg yet. It's just a little beak of a bird cracking the egg. Okay. But I think the new animal that will be born will be very exciting and quite different from what we see today. I think a lot of McLuhan's ideas were important. I think that his notion of analyzing media as language is something that I continue to learn from today. This is why I talk about the vocabulary of comics and the grammar of comics, because that idea of a language is very strong within me. I think that the medium is the message in many respects. I do think that for many people, their greatest desire is to have the medium become as clear as glass and vanish, so that people can lose themselves in the stories of those media. This isn't to say that the medium is not speaking through those stories, but from the audience's chair, the medium has become invisible. And I think that's an exciting trick to perform if you can. But McLuhan knows that always the media is there. Always the media is saying something, even when it seems to be silent. So I think that was a wise viewpoint. When it comes to the web, all futures are possible. You can have many futures simultaneously. When you have an open network, then people can try different models of reading, different relationships with their audience, different kinds of comics, different kinds of stories. All of these things can happen at once. It's different with mobile devices, with cell phones, with iPods. That's different because then you may find a single company, Apple, Sony, Microsoft, may decide on a shape for comics, decide on a relationship for the audience, decide on a kind of monetary system. And that may be it. And so I worry a little that in mobile spaces, there may not be the freedom. And if at the very beginning people misunderstand what makes comics exciting, we could see a terrible side road that leads to a dead end for many years. So I still hold out more hope for the web than I do for mobile devices. But I am interested to see what people propose for mobile devices. It could be good. Yeah, I think the Creative Commons movement is an important evolutionary step. I think it shows the kind of solutions that stay, that work, that live, that survive, because they recognize that it's entirely up to each individual writer and artist to choose their own course. And so that's why those solutions, I think, have worked better than other solutions that try to impose a structure upon people. Free will is the structure, so far. Unless somebody changes the shape of the web, that is the constant, is that the people act in their own interest. And what people discovered was that by allowing their work to be as widely distributed as possible, with as little friction as possible, that was the best way for it to be seen by as many people as possible. And even I ran up against this when I advocated some form of micropayments that allowed people to exchange small amounts of money. Just that was too much friction, and so very few people chose that route, and I understand why. But the Creative Commons movement it's a part of a broader movement to allow work to travel as far and as fast and to as many places as possible, and that's good. My next project is a graphic novel. It will take a few years to finish, be about 400 pages. It takes place in New York City. It has very high emotions, and it's a story I've wanted to tell for 20 years. It's a romance. It has magical elements to it, and I'm very excited about it, and I can't wait to get back to the drawing board and work on it.